Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. I want to share with you three true stories of amazing love and how they transformed life. You know, I met a wonderful man. His name is Ryan Beard, and he lives in Tennessee. And we met when we went to see John of God. And we've been corresponding back and forth. And, one day Ryan they were going to go eat dinner. So they went to a diner. And standing up front was this Latino couple. And the lady was in tears, and they had a little baby, and they were just standing there. It didn't look like they have a car or anything. So, and Brian he has a big heart, you know what I mean. So he walked over and he said, what's going on? What's the problem? And I said, well, we were dropped off here, but the ride that was supposed to pick us up didn't show up, and we're kind of stranded, and we don't have any money. And oh, that really hit Ryan kind of hard. So he decided to, you know, make a difference. And he had some money in his wallet, but all he had was a $100 bill because he thought they were going to go, eat dinner, and he would break it then. So he walks in the diner and was able to change the money. And then he walks back outside and he gives him $50 and says, "Hey, here, the bus stop's here. You better get on the next bus and find, make your way back home." And so they were so great, very grateful. And then he looked at him and goes, "You guys had anything to eat lately?" And he said, "Well, not for a while, and the baby's hungry." So he gives them another $50 and he said, "Here, you go in there and eat." And so they did. And he said, he always figures, it'll come back to me some other way. And I'm sure it will. And then they walked in the diner and they sat down. They had their meal, and they enjoyed their meal. In fact, his wife even had a couple of drinks, and they enjoyed, sitting there and conversing. And then let's get the bill. So he motioned to the waitress, and she came over and said, "So, can we get our bill so we can pay, so we can go?" And they said, "There's no bill." He said, "What?" He said, "We saw what you do to that couple out there, and you helped them in a great way, and because of that, there's no bill whatsoever." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, we were expecting to pay." They said, "No." So she walked off. So Ryan got up. He was expecting, it was about a $50 meal by the time they got through, and so he walked over and he said, "Come here, give me your hand." So he put the $50 in the waitress's hand and said, you know, "Pay it forward. This is for a tip for the night." And the girl just broke down into tears. She said, "You know what? This has been the worst day of my life." It really has been the worst day of my life. I've got bills to pay, and I have a little child, and I'm a single mother, and it's been really hard. And what you just did made my day. And so it's powerful, how we can interact with somebody and make a huge change in a person's life. I'll get back to Ryan a little bit. But we can change lives just by doing simple acts of kindness. I mean, it's not about talking about the kindness, it's about doing kindness. It's about making a difference in the world. And we can all do that. There's also very close to us here in Puerto Rico, we have Haiti and Father Joseph uh, Felipe. Father Joseph Felipe. Now, this is an amazing man. Haiti's had a huge run of terrible things happen, and they've had dictatorship after dictatorship, and people not caring about the poor people. And Father Joseph would actually started trying to make things better for the poor people. And first of all, he was working with this one area up in the middle of the mountains, and they had didn't even have a road to get down into the rest of the area. They had to walk on little trails. So one of the first things he did was to organize all the poor people together. They're just farmers, and they organized them. They started making a road. So they have a road there now, and they were very happy about that. All they had was pickaxes and wheelbarrows, and that was it. And there was nothing else, just manual labor, but they built a road. And then he set his sights on, we really need to have a school here, so we need to have these people educated. If you educate them, the things will get better here. So he decided that he was going to build some kind of school there. Now, building a school was the easy part. Getting somebody to come and be the principal and the teach at the school, that was the harder part. But they finally found a sister who would come, and she stayed on for a long time teaching, and then they had other teachers come, and then finally they ended up with 300 or 400 students, and actually they ended up with 600 students in that school. So pretty amazing. And then they built as a center, a community center, and then they had a radio station there, and then they ended up building a university. Nothing like the universities we have, but it was something where people could go through high school, and get their regular schooling done in a little school, and then end up going to a higher level of education. And a lot of them become farmers and veterinarians and, different things like that. So it was just amazing. And then they ended up deciding, he decided, we need to help these people to save. And he started also teaching the women how to actually learn to read and write, which is important. He thought the women were the major role players in the community, so he's teaching them to read and write. He also decided that, we need to start a bank here, a bank for the poor people. And so he started a bank and ended up with hundreds of branches. And then they had some very bad luck. They ended up with, interestingly, the higher muckamucks that own, most of everything in Haiti didn't like the idea that, they were having a bank and people were getting empowered and that type of thing. So they came in and created havoc, and they actually ended up killing one of their people. But that didn't change Father Joseph. He was determined. So he ended up moving forward anyway, and that's a huge burden on your shoulders when you have somebody die because they're trying to scare the heck out of you. But he kept moving forward anyway. But then they had another stroke of bad luck, and they ended up having the big earthquake there. And everything was torn down. All the buildings, they even built some houses, and they were all demolished. And it took him a couple days to get back. He was down in Port-au-Prince. It took him a couple days even to get back up in the mountains. And he was there. Luckily, not too many people died in the mountains. And so he started again, and one more time. And he's rebuilt everything. And they're helping those people to, have faith in what they can do, have faith in God, and have faith in the process of, we can do it one more time. And he has. An amazing man, I have to say. And we all have that ability. We can always get up one more time. And a lot of times we feel that life is beating us down, but this is nothing compared to what people have going on in Haiti. I'm telling you. I have to take my hat off to him. It's just amazing, man. And getting back to Ryan, my friend in Tennessee. Ryan and his father were going to lunch, and his father's a very nice man, and they were going to lunch, and they went to the same diner, in fact. And here's an older couple with a car, and it has a flat tire out front. And they walk into the diner at first, and they sit down, and Ryan sees them finally over on the side of the road and by the diner. He says, Dad, I got to go help these people. Nobody else is helping. And here's one of the reverends of a church sitting eating. He's not getting up to do anything. And a whole bunch of other people in the diner, and nobody else is getting up. And so Ryan goes out. He's pretty strong. He he works on diesel trucks, so he, you know, ex- put the spare on and helped them and got them on their way. And they were so happy because even the older late woman, she was in tears because her husband was pretty frail and he couldn't really do work any, work the jack or anything. So it was really great that Ryan could do that with him. And I think it has a lot more to do with what we feel is right inside. It's about actually doing love instead of talking about love. And I think it's really important that we take the actions of love and use those actions in our lives. And we can change lives in amazing ways. Who knows how that older couple interact with the other people the rest of that day, or maybe even the rest of their lives. And how, you know, Father Joseph interacts with people and how that changed lives. I mean, that changes thousands of lives. There's no doubt about it. And how that Latino couple that Ryan interacted with, I'm sure that they were changed by his wonderful act of kindness. So, 3 stories of wonderful love. All we have to do is take action, reach out, make a difference, and we will make a difference in everyone's life. Because if we know 4 people, 4 people, we can actually change everything in this world because that multiplies out. So I ask you to go out and, instead of talking about love, to do some actions of love. Have a wonderful day. If you care to subscribe, that's really great. I appreciate that very much. Also, if you want to contact me in any way, shape, or form, all my contact information is down below. All my consults are free, even my herbal consults. And also, if you care to make a donation, there's 2 links down below with 2 ways you can do that. And I appreciate that in advance. May you have a wonderful Sunday, and I love you very much.